Hey guys, welcome back to Math from my desk. Today I will be solving this question here. I got the question from Khan Academy. Consider the curve given by the equation 3x squared plus y raised to the power 4 plus 6x is equal to 253. Write the equation of the horizontal line that is tangent to the curve and above the x-axis. So the first thing when I see this type of question is I know that it's going to involve implicit differentiation. In Khan Academy, they already give you the derivative of y with respect to x. However, I'm going to go ahead and solve it here anyways. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the derivative of this. So I'm going to take the derivative with respect to x of 3x squared plus y to the 4th plus 6x. And this is going to be equal to the derivative with respect to x of 253. So let's go ahead and start. The derivative with respect to x of 3x squared, that's just going to be the application of the power rule. We're going to have 6x plus 4y cubed. And then we're going to have dy dx. Because we are taking the derivative with respect to x, so this is kind of like, you can think of this like the chain rule, because this think of this as like a function of x, and then we're gonna have the derivative of 6x is 6, and then the derivative of 253, it's a constant, so it's 0. And so I'm gonna go ahead and rewrite this here. So I'm left with 4y cubed dy dx plus 6x plus 6 is equal to 0. So now I'm gonna go ahead and subtract 6x plus 6 from both sides. So I'm left with 4y cubed dy dx is equal to negative 6x plus 6. I'm going to go ahead and write this to be negative 6x plus 1 because it's going to come in handy later when I want to solve for x here. And we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 4y cubed. And so our implicit differentiation gives us that the derivative of y with respect to x is simply negative 6 times x plus 1, all of this over 4y cubed. So I want to figure out an equation for a line that is horizontal. This is very important. So what this tells me is that I'm going to want, in the system of equations that I'm going to build, which I'm going to flip the page for, I'm going to have the numerator, I want the numerator to equal 0, and I want the denominator to not equal 0. So if this were like inverse, so if this was asking me for a vertical line, I would want the numerator to not equal 0, and I would want the denominator to equal 0. But however, since this is horizontal, I'm going to go ahead and set the numerator equal to 0. And for y cubed, I'm going to want that to not be 0. So let me just write up my system of equations. I'm going to go ahead and get the paper under. So my system of equation, I've in big here 3x squared plus y to the 4th plus 6x is equal to 253. I have negative 6 times x plus 1 equals 0 because I want this to be 0. And then the denominator for y cubed, I want this to not be 0. So this right here is my system of equations. So let's go ahead and solve this. So first thing, I'm going to solve for x. This is very simple. You can just think of it as x plus 1 equals 0. Subtract x from both sides. You get x is equal to negative 1. So x equals to negative 1 because when you do negative 1 plus 1, it's 0. So the whole thing ends up equaling 0. So in order to find our y value now, I'm going to go ahead and plug that x equals negative 1 back into the original equation here. So let's see, we have 3 times negative 1 to the power of 2, which is just simply 1. So 3 times 1 is 3, plus y to the 4th, plus 6 times negative 1 is negative 6, is equal to 253. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 3 and add 6 from both sides. So let's see, 253 plus 6 is 259, minus 3 is 256. So I'm left with y raised to the power of 4 is equal to 256, as I said. So now I'm gonna take the 4th root of both sides, and hold on. This would be hard to do without a calculator, but let's see if we can do it. I know 16 times 16 is 256. Okay, so 4 times 4, the square root of 16 is 4, so we have 4 times 4. And we also have 4 times 4, so we have 4 fours, so y is equal to 4. And let's make sure that this first this meets our criteria here. 4y cubed. 4 cubed is 64, I think. 16 times 4, yeah. No, 16 times 4. Yeah, it's 64. And 4 times 64 is definitely not 0. So this checks out, this checks out, this checks out. So our answer here for the equation of the line is y is equal to 4.